Hello everyone, this is Dina. This is April the 6th. It's Thursday and it's my first update since returning from our retreat in Indiana. So it's sort of back to normal. I'm ready to get back to my WIPs and sort of work toward my year of WIPs. So the first WIP in my rotation is Sleeping Beauty for this month anyway, and I have spent the last 3 days working on her. So just a quick reminder, this is the Mirabilia version of Sleeping Beauty. There are several Sleeping Beauty patterns that are being worked on right now in the FlossTube community. I've seen a few of them and they're all beautiful. This one I'm doing on a 28 count Jobelan Stormy Skies. I forget to tell you that every now and then, but I'll insert a picture of where I was when I left off my last rotation. And this is where I've gotten to now for this rotation. This is the Sleeping Beauty. I had made it all the way across last time. So this time I started back over on this side, and I've done 2 more blocks of 10, starting over at the left and working my way across to the right. So I've gotten almost to the bottom of her dress again, not quite to where it slips into something else. I'm hoping that by my next rotation I could get at least 2/3 of the way across. I feel like I got about 1/3 of the way this time. And I will show you, it's a combination in this section of confetti and blocks of color, which made it quite interesting. But there was a lot of confetti in here, 3 or 4 colors, and then of course 3 or 4 colors in here. And then it moved into a little bit more of blocks of color with the sash, and then that portion of her dress you can see a little more bit of solid blocks of color, which helped me get as far as I got in this rotation. But enjoyed each part of it, and I feel like it's moving along well. This is just a big piece. It's just a big piece. It's going to take a little while. So I am glad that I'm getting some work on it each month, and I feel good about the amount of progress that I made for the 3 days that I had her, and I'm loving seeing the picture begin to really develop. Can see the full pillow and can start seeing her dress, her sash. I noticed this, I'll share that with you. Her sash across her waist now looks completely like a sash across her waist. So I'm beginning to see pieces and parts of it come to life. So that's kind of nice. So that is my WIP update on Sleeping Beauty. My next WIP that I'll start working on will be my Smoky Mountain Christmas. I want to give it some extra time, so I stopped about noonish today on Sleeping Beauty. I was at a good place to stop, and so I've decided that I will go ahead and begin working on my Smoky Mountain Christmas this afternoon after lunch. So that'll be the next WIP, and hopefully I'll be able to give you an update on that maybe this weekend after I've spent 3 or 4 days on it. I may work on it all the way through the weekend because there is a marathon, a stitch-a-thon this weekend, and I just might use that one for it. I think that would be great. And then I wanted to share with you a lovely little present that I received from Pat Smith. Pat, thank you so much. In case you don't know Pat, she is with the company she and her husband have of custom cutting bell pulls, and she's got a Facebook group to that, and I'll make mention of it in my comments below. So if you haven't already seen her or joined her Facebook, you might want to do that. I used her bell pulls for a Christmas present last year, a poem that I cross-stitched for my sister Stephanie, and it had a house at the top, and at the bottom it said home, and I think it was just lovely. But she has a Christmas snowman, and they have a Halloween one that I may be having to get. So she has some really neat things, and she and I have joined as friends on Facebook since we've been working together. Met her early on and got one of her bell pulls and was so happy with it. And she had been watching my videos and noticed that I was making ornaments and smalls for my 4th of July decorations this year. And even though Pat lives in Canada, and so it's not the same for her, the 4th of July isn't the same holiday for her, out of kindness toward me, she made me a small for the 4th of July and said it was for my future dough bowl. She knows I'm looking for one. So this is it. It says, "Hooray for the USA," and she's got little stars on there, both stitched and little button stars, and it's just precious. The edging is beaded, red, white, and blue. And on the back are her initials and a maple leaf from Canada. So it's to remind me, of course, that this is from my Canadian friend. And I just love it. Thank you, Pat, so much. She gave me permission to thank her publicly. I've already thanked her privately, but I just wanted you to see her beautiful handiwork and her thoughtfulness. So I just appreciate it and wanted to share it with you. So that's it for this day, and I'll go have some lunch, and then I'll come back and get started on Smoky Mountain Christmas. Happy stitching, everyone. Bye. Here's my Easter basket with my little smalls in it. I have used these on my ornament tree in the past. That's why they have the little loops at the top and the light ribbon. But this year I decided to put them in an Easter basket. So this sits in my living room, right next to the couch. You can see the different ornaments that I stitched a year or so ago. And the little bunny in the middle, the big bunny with the wheelbarrow full of eggs, was my topper for my tree. So in my basket, I just made it my centerpiece. Anyway, I hope you like it. Good morning, everyone. This is Dina, and I'm here with an update on my Smoky Mountain Christmas. I finished my rotation on it last night, and today is Sunday, and I'm about to leave here to go to church, but I wanted to show you my progress while I had just a few minutes. So I'm going to turn the camera around and show it to you because I'm going to have to span it. So let me turn the camera around and I'll be right back. Here's what the piece is to look like when it's finished. And if you'll recall, it's a Cross My Heart ink design, Smoky Mountain Christmas, and the original artwork is by Linda Catilla. And now I'll insert a picture on where it was when I last shared it with you. And now, here's where we are today. We have come across, which you have seen a little in the past, and now this is where we are today. I've actually gotten all the way across the picture. This is the end of the picture as far as the sleigh. Now the trees will go slightly past that. And then back up here at the tree, we finished this tree and this in between last time, and I'm not sure I had a picture of it that far advanced, so I didn't get to insert it for you. But I didn't do anything up here this rotation. I concentrated here on the sleigh. We got all the back stitching done in the sleigh. So all of the toys are now visible. Here's the little sheep. Here is the little kitty cat right here. That's the pull toy for the sheep. He's standing on a pull toy, in case you couldn't tell. Then this is the parts and pieces for a train, a book, the doll. I'm not sure what these little blocks go to. They're kind of out there on their own. And I'm not sure what this brown bag is. It looks like it could be, I think it's a sleigh. I'm not sure. It looks like it might be a sleigh. And then there's a violin and a teddy bear. And of course the candy canes. So that's the bag, and the rope around the bag was quite fun. I enjoyed that. Then you move over and you see the what looks like the back of the sleigh. I don't know if it's a side where Santa is supposed to stand and hold on. I thought at first it was a bench, but I don't think it is. I don't think there's a seat there because the big old bag of apples is in the way. So this time we stitched the rest of the sleigh. The bag of apples all the way out, the snow underneath. There you go. And we started on the Christmas tree that hangs out this way in the back. So my next rotation, I will be back stitching the bag and apples and the rest of the sleigh, as you can see where I left off right here. And then I will finish the tree and move up and start working on the rest of the trees in the sky, which is where I will finish up. I don't know that I'll be able to finish this whole piece on my next rotation. It may take a couple more, but I will tell you that when I was working on this piece for the weekend rush for Stitch Mania this past weekend, I really got the itch to just keep working on it till it was finished. So I'm not sure I'll be able to resist that next time if I get really good progress on the tree and finish up that sleigh, and all I have left is that little corner at the top. I may have to just finish it up. The exciting thing is that this is one of my year of WIPs, and once I finish this piece, it will be the one that will qualify me for being halfway there, which I think qualifies me for the drawing, and it sort of takes the pressure off. So, and it is one of my bigger WIPs, so that'll feel so good to get it finished. And then I can decide which will be my next WIP that I want to start concentrating on. So I just thank you for taking the time with me to look over Smoky Mountain Christmas. I think it's fairly safe unless something completely unplanned happens, that I will have this finished this year for Christmas, which was my goal, and I'll be happy to meet that goal. Well, in the meantime, you guys have a wonderful week of stitching, and I'll be back to do an update for you on all of my year of WIPs. That is something I felt like I should do this month, especially getting close on this one. I probably ought to identify which one of my projects I've been working on are in my year of WIPs and kind of show you how far I've gotten on each one. So happy stitching until I talk to you again. Goodbye. Good morning, everyone. This is Wednesday, April the 12th, and I'm excited to share with you a finish today. This is the book that it's from, Better Homes and Gardens Cross Stitch Christmas, and we've been looking at this for a little while, so that's no surprise. But I am thrilled to be able to share with you my 12 Days of Christmas. It's finished. I'm standing up today so I can back up and let you see the whole thing. And then we'll do a little close-up here. But this is how it looks, and I am seriously thinking of making this into a wall hanging because I think it would be pretty costly to hang. And I also think that it's very simplistic and plain. And so I'm thinking that having a beautiful fabric, backing it and bordering it on all the edges would be the thing to do. So let me move in a little bit and give you a look at the 12 Days of Christmas. There's the partridge and the 2 turtle doves and the 3 French hens. I'm going to move in a little closer just so you can see. These are very detailed pictures. Lots of color changes. Lots of beautiful color in each one. There's 4 calling birds, the rings, and the hen. 6 gets a laying. Swan is striking. I think it's so lovely. Here's 8 maids a milking. And in case you can't see, I'll try to get it close enough where you can. The clothing tends to have plaids in it. And that is true all through this piece. Look at that fancy lady dancing. And then here come the more elaborate costumes on the men. I can't see what you can see, so I'm hoping I'm getting it there for you. Great plaid on the piper, and also a really great plaid on the drummer's drumming. So that is my finished piece, and unfortunately it's not one of my Year of WIPs, but I started this piece as the Christmas Sal in Stitch Mania, where we started one thing a day that was supposed to be for the 12 Days of Christmas. And what better piece for me than the 12 Days of Christmas? So this is now finished. I've pressed it, and I will be making it into a wall hanging. When I get it finished, I'll share it with you again. It's not on an urgent list to get it done because it's not for, till Christmas. But the stitching is done, and that will help open up some time in my rotation so that I can either put more time on all my Year of WIPs that are remaining, or I might actually slip in a new start. It is close to Stitch Mania, so I'm going to be looking at those plans first, and then I'll decide what to do. But just so you know, I am thrilled to death to have this completed. And I started this on Christmas Day, December 25th of 2016. And I finished it in the wee hours this morning of April the 12th. So not too terribly bad, and I'm tickled that it's done. So thank you for looking at it with me, and I hope that the rest of your day is a fabulous stitching day. And I'll talk to you again soon. Bye. Greetings, everyone. Dina here. I'm going to give you a brief update today. It is Thursday, April the 13th. And since it's about mid-month, I'm going to do an update on my last piece that I just finished my rotation on today. And I'm also going to tell you kind of how I'm coming on my Year of WIPs. So the first thing I'm going to tell you about is my WIP update for today's rotation, which is the Theresa Wentzler Nativity. And this one is giving me a bit of a challenge because it's on a very small count linen. And yet I'm having to do the skin 1/1 because that's how it's charted. After all, it is Theresa Wentzler, and I believe she does that on all of hers, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, here's where I am. My small goal was to, after I finished this tunic last time, was to start moving over toward the right and be able to move up into that second wing and get that rest of that section on my chart completed so I can move on to the second half of the chart, the bottom half of the chart. So today I finished up the 1/1 skin on Joseph's face. So his head and face are complete, including back stitching. And these actually do not look good close up. I'm stitching with a magnifier and it doesn't look very pretty. And then when I take it away and I look at it from a distance, I say, oh, there it is. There's the face. So this is one of those true situations where the art is to be viewed from a distance, because then you can really see the features coming out. I'll get a little closer and I think you'll be able to see what I mean. You lose a little bit of the depth where you can actually see the facial features if you get too close. But believe it or not, my rotation was supposed to be 3 days this week, but because I had a finish, I went an extra day to finish. I had to cut this one off after 2 days. And actually that was okay, because when I finished that 1/1 skin on that face today, I was tired of this piece for right now. It needs to have a little recess, and I need to take a break from it as well. I do believe it's simply because of how small this count is. And the 1/1 skin, I've got to do her face yet, and I've got, I think, 3 different hands that have to be done. But if I do them a little bit at a time like I'm doing, I think I'll be able to handle it. This is a year of WIP. It was actually a new start for year of WIPs. I did not have 10 items, and you had to have a minimum of 10 and, you know, commit to finishing at least 5. So to get to 10, I had to make a new start, and this was my new start. So I didn't anticipate finishing this one this year. I don't know that I will, but I'm going to keep it in my monthly rotation, and we'll just see how it goes. Okay? I just recently did an update on Sleeping Beauty, but because I did not have a photograph of her saved to my phone or my computer, because it was just in the actual video, I'll show you briefly again Sleeping Beauty with her latest addition there on the bottom under her sleeve and her dress about a third of the way across. You'll probably remember that. It might even be in this video. So, but that's just so I don't ignore her, because she is definitely one of my year of WIPs. Now, considering how much I have left to do on her, I don't know that she'll be finished this year, but she will be in my monthly rotation as usual. And I don't have any plans or ideas on when she'll be finished. I'm just going to work on her every month and see how it goes. I'm just enjoying working on her. So that's where we are with that. It's been a little while since you've seen this next one. It's Firefly Faeries. I always have a hard time saying that. Don't know why. And this piece and I have been through a love-hate relationship, as we've talked about before. It's on my frame. I didn't want to take it off. But this is where I'm at. And this is where I was the last time you saw it. I have not worked on it yet. I actually missed it last month because of all my travels. And it is slated to be worked on this month in my rotation. So you'll be seeing it again pretty soon. But I just wanted to mention it and tell you that I'm here. I'm working on it. It has not gone in a timeout or anything. It's just hasn't been one of my priorities. I am enjoying it better now that I am not beading as I go. I think that was the right decision to stop doing that. I'm just working on the cross stitch right now. So I do have a small goal to try to get part of that blue fairy done and part of the red fairy filled in to where I can roll the scroll the next time I work on it. So that is my goal for the next time that I have a rotation with her. So she's a year of WIP. I don't expect to finish her anytime in the near future. So I'm sorry, there's a wasp. It's outside. Okay, I was just making sure I didn't need to run screaming from the room. I'm allergic, so I don't like to be stung. The next year of WIP I want to mention is Bewitched. And this one was very deceiving. I thought it was going to be, let me move this out of my way here, this other lamp. I thought it was going to be very easy, quick stitch, lots of fun, and it is fun, and I am in love with it, but it is not a quick stitch. If you've used blending filament, you know what I'm talking about, because as I've mentioned before, this entire moon and this entire top here, the sleeve, and then she's going to have a coat that goes down over that dress. Almost all of this is with blending filament. This whole globe has blending filament, and it slows you down. You have to use shorter lengths of thread, so you have to start and stop a lot more often, and you have to go slow and careful so that they don't tangle and they fray, and so it just takes a lot of concentration. But this is where I am on my last rotation. I had a goal to finish the sleeve, and I did. So I will be moving back this direction next time, and I'll start on this sleeve over here, because again, I'm trying to get the pattern down far enough where I can roll it up and continue working on it since it's on a scroll frame. Now, you've all seen my Smoky Mountain Christmas pretty recently. That is the one that is calling to me. It is screaming my name. It is the closest one I have to a finish, and it's still got a lot of work. I still have to finish the Christmas tree hanging out the back, and I have to then finish the rest of the trees and sky all the way out to the end. And I was trying really hard not to let that be in the very end, that I'd have a lot of that. I think I've done pretty well. It's a manageable amount. But on a normal rotation, I'm still looking at 2 or 3 rotations to finish it, and I don't want to take that long. So I'm in a quandary what to do. I've got my rotation figured out for the rest of this month, and in order to work on the Smoky Mountain Christmas anymore, I'd have to scrap everything I've planned, including some sales that I've signed up for. And then Stitch Mania is in May, and I have all my Mania plans ready if I decide to do it. And I think I would like to do it. Most of my Mania plans are going to be helping me get ornaments made this year. And this is the year I wanted to make both 4th of July ornaments and Christmas ornaments. And Stitch Mania was where I was going to kick off my Christmas ornaments. So I think I need to do that. And it could be that rather than touch the rest of my WIPs at the end of May, the last 2 weeks, I may just devote to Smoky Mountain Christmas and try to finish it. I don't know. That'll be the question. We'll have to wait and find out. Okay, so that's Bewitched, Firefly, Faeries, Sleeping Beauty, the Nativity, Smoky Mountain Christmas. There's one more. Let me look at my trusty list. Children's Garden. Okay, Children's Garden. As you know, I work on once a month for the SAL. That was the ABC SAL, and I try to work on that time of the month 2 or 3 days for my rotation, and it's just moving along. But I've done most of the easy part of it now, and I'm into the heavy confetti, all the little arbor of flowers. Just a stitch here, a stitch there. It's going to be very slow going. So again, I'm not sure that I'll get to push it to a finish this year. I really think that Smoky Mountain Christmas will be my next finish, and it will qualify me to say that I have met the challenge of completing at least half of my year of WIPs. That doesn't mean I'll stop working on all of them. I will continue working on all of them to the end of the year anyway, until I finish them all. But I really think that that's the one I have the best chance of finishing in time by the end of the year. I can see myself finishing it before the end of the year, and so I think that's why I keep feeling the pressure to get back to it. I did finish the 12 Days of Christmas, but that wasn't one of my year of WIPs. That was a start for the Stitch Mania SAL, the 12 Days of Christmas, of Stitchmas. So I had started it on December 25th and just kept working on it as part of my rotation. But it is a simpler pattern, and so, you know, it was easier to get done. I wish it had been a year of WIP. I'd be there by now. I would have hit my 5th one, but it wouldn't have been half, because then I would have had 11 and I would have needed one more anyway. So I'm just glad to have a finish. I'm going to calculate that up and put it in my Stitch from Stash, because I haven't had a larger finish like that in a while. They've all been small little 4th of July ornaments for my ornament tree in the last couple of months. So I do have another WIP, the Four Freedoms, that is not my year of WIPs, and so I didn't report on it today, but it's in my rotation and I work on it every month as well. And then I have a 4th of July ornament that I started at the retreat, and it's called Liberty Land, I think is the name of it. And I have it just going on, and it'll be worked on for my magazine sale this month. So that's kind of what I'm doing. The next special video that I plan on doing would be my plans for Mania, and I'll do that with my next half of the month update. So that's about it for my year of WIPs. Okay, the last thing I wanted to do today, as part of this cross stitch update, is Tricia, the left-handed stitcher's stitching tag that she entitled "Just Do It." So her first question of her tag was, do you have a pile or a box or drawer of completed stitches, FOs not yet FFO'd? Well, Tricia, your story really touched my heart, because I have a very similar one. And I only have one unfinished item that I need to FFO, but I can't give it to the person. I'm in a very similar situation that you were in. So my condolences to you in your loss of your parents, and I have a very similar story to share, and I don't know how much of this I have shared before, if any. But before my mom passed away at age 90, she was a wonderful seamstress, and she pretty much made everything I ever wore until I got married. And then I was shocked when she said she wouldn't be making all my clothes anymore. She said I would have to do it from now on. But she was a needle worker as well. She did cross stitch, embroidery, crewel work, and she had some fairly large pieces of crewel work in her home that she actually had left a letter to me about who was to get each piece, that had people that had requested it, her grandchildren that had wanted it. So she was a very talented lady, and years before she passed away, she had an idea that she wanted me to find a picture, a cross-stitch pattern that we could do together that would depict each of her children's families. And I found a book of children. I can't find the pattern book anymore. I think she had it, and probably it got thrown away at some point after her death, but I've never found it again. And I had to take that book of patterns and cut and paste and graph in between to set up pictures that contained the right number of children, the right number of girls and boys at the right stage of life, to represent my brother's 4 children, my sister's 3 living children, and her child who passed away at the age of 2, and my 1 child. And we decided to do them all as small children, just appropriately sized for their birth order. So that took a bit of finagling, but we got it done. I got everything grafted on a working copy, and we split the task. My mom took 2 and I took 2. We decided to do my nephew, who had passed away, as a small child asleep, and then we did my son on a rocking horse, and we did we grafted my brother's 4 children at a tea party, and we grafted my sister's 3 girls as bathing the animals because they had cats and dogs and they lived on a farm. Well, we started stitching. I took 2, my mom took 2, and I finished my 2, and she finished 1.5 of hers. And unfortunately, at that time in her life, she had cataracts and could not see very well and didn't say anything to me about it. And the piece remained unfinished until she passed away. And right before she passed away, she found it and she gave it to me and said, I don't know what you're going to do with this, because her intention had been that we would stitch these 4 pieces, we would frame them, and we would give my brother his 4 kids the cross stitch of his family, my sister her 3 girls and the picture of her little boy, and I would take the piece that was my son. My mom stitched it for me, so I would have something that she had stitched. So by the time my mom found these again and gave them to me, my sister had already passed away with cancer, and my brother had recently passed away with a heart attack. So my 2 siblings were no longer there to receive their pictures. My sister's husband had remarried, and although my sister-in-law has not remarried, mother did not want to give one a picture and not give the other. So she just told me to keep them and do what I wanted with them. And I'll be honest with you, for about the next 5 years, I couldn't even look at them. They were, just too sentimental for me because of who stitched them, because of the whole idea, because of the gift that my mom had in mind. It was very sentimental, as you can imagine. So, about 5 years after her death, I was cleaning up my sewing room, and I came across these cross-stitch pieces, and I had a moment, and I took some time, and I sat and I looked at them, and I cried, and I got past that moment. So now I felt like I want to do something with these. I don't know what yet, but I want to do something with them. So I molded over, and I decided that one of these is of my son, and these are all his first cousins on my side of the family. So if he has a child someday, it would be nice to do a wall hanging that depicts him and all of his cousins, that we could put in the room that would be the playroom or a children's room, for our grandchildren. So I got busy with that idea, and I decided that since these 4 pieces of cross stitch wouldn't be a big enough wall hanging, I would put in additional pages or pieces, squares, that would have clothing that I would applique onto those squares. So it would look like the pictures are of the children, and then these are various play outfits that, that would go with them. Just something that would have texture and, something that was very tactile, where you could touch it and feel the clothes hanging off, that kind of thing. So I even came up with a layout, and I don't know if you can see this or not, but basically I had decided to put one of the cross-stitch pieces in this corner, 2 in the middle, and 1 in this corner, and then have the boys and girls clothing around it, so that it would look like a little diagonal and, just be kind of a object to look at, something fun to look at. So I'm going to show you these pieces because these are my FFOs. I'm sorry, my UFOs that Tricia was trying to get at, that we should finish them and do something with them. And so, so to answer that first question, I have one major UFO, Tricia. They were going to be stitched for a gift, and I'm going to show them and talk to you about them. I'm going to fold this so the names are not showing. That's what I'm covering up here, okay? Just the names. So, because I don't have any of their permission to share their full names. It has first, middle, and last name on them. But this is the one that my mom stitched to represent my son. And I love the fact that it has a puppy dog on the back, because he has had a small puppy dog of his own since he was a small child. And just recently, with the passing of our beloved puppy, a couple of years back, we had her for 14 years. We decided not to bring in another one, and then I did, and then as y'all watched my channel, you know that didn't work out well. So we're kind of petless right now. Also, I think it's interesting, my son had a rocking horse at my mom's house that was mine from when I was a child, and it was one of those on a metal frame that was on springs, and you could just back and forth. He loved that rocking horse, and he rode it all the time. But this is my mom's stitching. She didn't sign it, but this is the piece she stitched for me to represent my little boy. So that's the first one. This is the one that I stitched. Oh, and the name is very close, so I have to fold that pretty carefully to represent my sister's oldest child, who was killed in a house fire when he was 2. And we won't even talk about that. It was an accident, and there was no one really at fault. It just happened. Very painful story. So we won't go there. Then we have the second one that I stitched, which was my sister's 3 girls. And they do not have their last name on here. Oh, it does too. That's going to be interesting. Trying to hide it, I'll just have to put my hand over it. Or a piece of paper. See if that works. There we go. Hiding names. All right, this is the second piece that I did. And this is them giving their little puppy dog a bath. And you'll notice they've got little animals all around. And the youngest one has a handful of weeds. Flowers that she's going to give her mom. And this is very, very precious to me. Very sweet. Pictorial of my sister's 3 girls. And then my mother was working on this second piece, and I've had to fold the top and the bottom because, again, it has their names, and I'll try to get it where you can see it. There you go. Just know the names are right up under there. So, and there's a story about this. This is the one my mom started, and she got to where she couldn't see very well. And when she started over here, and when she got to about right here, you'll notice there's this unusual blob of color that doesn't seem to fit there. And it didn't. She picked the wrong color. And she had stitched that and stopped and couldn't figure out what she'd done wrong and got very frustrated. And she just quit working on it. And then she finally, when she gave it to me, told me, I don't know what I've done. I've messed up and I can't see well enough to even tell you what I've done. Well, I left it because my mom did that. And it meant a lot to me that that's where she stopped and why she stopped. And it was just, you know, part of her life that I didn't frog it out. I just left it. Okay. And then I finished it. I went ahead and finished the piece all across so that we would have them all done. And so these are the panels that I'm going to use to make the wall hanging. I even went so far, once I got motivated to do something about it, I got fabric. Now those of you who sew, you're going to enjoy this part because this piece of fabric is for the backing. And the this is for the other panels that'll have the clothing hanging off of them. And this is for the little border to go around each square of the quilt. Anyway, that is my cross stitch UFO. I've been collecting scraps to make the clothing. I've done some research on what clothing was actually popular at the time that each of these kids were about the age that they're depicted in the pieces that we did, and someday I'm gonna finish that, but not today. My son isn't in a serious relationship. He's nowhere near having a family yet, so I think I have time on that one, and it is very emotional, and it's going to take a lot of figuring and a lot of work, and I'm enjoying cross-stitching right now so much that I'm just not at a point where I want to stop that one and work on it and then let it just sit and languish. So, you know, once he finds his mate and they start talking seriously about having a family, I will get to it, and I will make sure that that is complete and that he knows the significance of it. He loved my mom. He absolutely adored her, and I think it will mean a great deal to him to receive that. So that's just my UFO, and that's why it's a UFO, and it someday will be the gift that it needs to be. But I'm very happy to say that is my only UFO. And so I do echo what Tricia is saying, is finish your gifts and give them to the people, you know, right away. Had my mom let me know early on that she couldn't see well enough to finish that picture, we could have frogged that little error out and we could have finished that. I would have helped her do that, and we could have framed them and given those out to the people that she wanted them to have it. But we didn't, and I hate that I didn't remind her about it, or, you know, ask her about it so she could tell me. But, you know, in the end, I have them and I'll enjoy them, and they mean the world to me. So maybe that's the gift anyway. Who knows? I don't want to end on a downer, so just wanted to let you know I'm working on my magazine sale starting tomorrow. I'm probably going to work on this video and get it ready to get uploaded. I don't think I'll have any more progress enough in the next day, you know, to get this to wait. Don't want to wait until I have another rotation of 2 to 3 days to put it up, since it's already got so much information in it. I'll go ahead and share that with you. I hope you have a great weekend. Today is Thursday, so the weekend starts tomorrow. And I hope you get a lot of stitching done. I hope to. And I will talk to you very soon and show you my progress in my next piece that I'll have in my rotation. And I'll solve the mystery as to when I'm going to work on Smoky Mountain Christmas and what I'm going to do about it, on whether I finish it or not. So you guys have a great weekend, lots of stitching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.